Honor, I know you're asking me, what does a Brazilian butt lift have to do with Kevin Spacey Fowler? Well, have you ever had a Kevin Spacey Fowler butt lift?
Hey, have you been canceled by society?
Is your movie universally despised?
Well, we're here to fight
For you! Case by case.
Welcome to the court of public opinion. This is
Devil's Advocate.
Today, I will be defending Kevin Spacey. But before I get into that, I would like you to submit into evidence everything that you think you know about the case.
If it's your piece of court. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor, distinguished guests, my name is Taurean Royal. It's been that since the day I was born, and it is that to this day now. Now, the gentleman we're here to talk about, you know as Kevin Spacey. That's not the guy that I know. The guy that I'm prosecuting, the guy that I will show you with beyond a shadow of a doubt, did what they say he did and much more we know nothing about, but that's not, no, that is the flip side of the coin. That's a side for another day. I know Kevin Spacey Fowler. How funny is the last name Fowler? Because somebody ran afoul of the law. Kevin Spacey Fowler, his defendant, ran afoul of the law. Now, I don't know how they do it in South Orange, New Jersey. But here in this district, this district of Duval County, no, that won't play here. Because here's the thing, is. Now granted, they're gonna tell you all these little magical story tales about statute of limitations and how the law worked back then and how the law works now. Well, let me tell you how my law works. You somebody don't wanna be then you're gonna get
That was entertaining. Thank you. Now, I'd like to present the actual facts of the case. Here's what we know. Kevin Spacey was a bit of a troublemaker as a child. He lit his sister's treehouse on fire and wound up in military academy, which he was expelled from after a few short months. He began channeling all that energy into acting during his high school years, starring in theater productions. And he would never really leave the stage behind, serving as the artistic director of London's Old Vic Theatre from 2004 until 2015, where he also directed and starred in numerous plays. He worked his way up the ranks of New York stages through his 20s and shortly after began picking up supporting roles in film and television. In 1995, he won his first Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in The Usual Suspects and picked up another for Best Actor in 1999's American Beauty. He'd go on to star in numerous films, some gems, some duds, but always a grade A performance from Spacey. In 2013, he became Frank Underwood for 5 years and 65 episodes of the groundbreaking Netflix series House of Cards. House of Cards didn't end until the next year, though. Why wasn't Kevin Spacey in the final season? What happened around that time? On October 29, 2017, actor Anthony Rapp publicly alleged that Kevin Spacey harassed him when he was 14 years old at a 1986 house party at Spacey's home. Spacey would have been 26 or 27. Spacey immediately took to Twitter to address the allegations in a lengthy statement and apology where he also came out as a homosexual. The very next day, October 30th, Netflix announces that they will not be involved with any further production of House of Cards that includes Kevin Spacey. On that same day, Mexican actor Robert Cavazos took to Facebook stating that Spacey groped him in the bar of London's Old Vic Theatre. 20 other allegations stemmed from further investigations at the Old Vic. The next day, October 31st, filmmaker Tony Montana shared, "He put his hand on my crotch forcefully and grabbed my whole package." This allegedly took place in 2003. November 3rd, a few days later, 8 past and current anonymous employees from the set of House of Cards speak out about their personal harassment experiences with Spacey, describing his behavior as predatory. Also on November 3rd, Richard Dreyfuss' son, Harry Dreyfuss, alleged that Spacey touched him inappropriately in 2008 when he was 18, stating, "Over the course of about 20 seconds, centimeter by centimeter, Kevin crawled his hand from my thigh over toward my crotch. My mind went blank." November 3rd isn't over yet. Mark Ebenhock, who worked on the set of Outbreak, stated that one of Spacey's assistants asked him to go to Spacey's trailer and engage in a sexual act with the actor. On November 8th, it was decided to take on the costly endeavor of cutting Kevin Spacey out of Ridley Scott's All the Money in the World just 1 month before the film's release date. Christopher Plummer would step in for the reshoots. In 2019, Spacey faced a lawsuit which stemmed from an accusation that was first raised in 2017 by a former Boston TV anchor, Heather Unruh, who alleged that in 2016, Spacey got her 18-year-old son drunk and assaulted him at the restaurant that he worked at. Spacey denied the allegations and pled not guilty. On May 26, 2022, the Metropolitan Police in the UK issued a statement that detectives have been authorized by the Crown Prosecution Service to charge Kevin Spacey with 4 counts of sexual assault against 3 men. Spacey has stated that he will voluntarily appear in the UK courts to face the charges and that he is confident that he can prove his innocence. With that being said, here is my defense of Kevin Spacey. I'll begin with this. He gave the world Glengarry Glen Ross, The Ref, Swimming with Sharks, The Usual Suspects, Outbreak, 7, A Time to Kill, LA Confidential, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, The Negotiator, Hurly Burly, A Bug's Life, American Beauty, The Big Kahuna, Pay It Forward, K-Pax, The United States of Leland, The Life of David Gale, Beyond the Sea, Superman Returns, Fred Claus, 21, Recount, Shrink, The Men Who Stare at Goats, Father of Invention, Horrible Bosses 2, Baby Driver, and House of Cards. This man has given us so much, and we are willing to take it all away for what? For what? Now, give me one moment here. I prepared something, and I just want to get myself in the right headspace before
Please, the court, is this going anywhere?
Sustained. I'm gonna be honest with you, it was difficult. This was a difficult case to take on the more I dug into it.
Let's be clear. Before I begin, I want to make sure that it's known that I am not out to blame victims. I don't advocate blaming victims.
Okay. Let's be clear. Before I move on, I want to make sure that it's known I am not out to blame victims here. I don't condone victim blaming. I'm not a victim blamer. But in order to have a victim, there has to be a crime. In order for there to be a crime, there has to be some kind of conviction. There has not been any case that has went to court that has found him guilty. There has been one case that's actually gone to court, and it was dismissed. There is more cases that has been dismissed from these allegations than there has been guilty verdicts. There has been 0 guilty verdicts. Kevin Spacey vehemently denies everything. Let's run through the charges here. Regarding the busboy incident in 2016, Spacey's attorneys state, by his own account, he did not object to the alleged touch-in, he did not ask Spacey to stop, and he did not in any way remove himself from the situation. At best, this describes 2 people engaged in mutual and consensual flirtation. Nothing more. Reminder, the boy was 18. The boy was not a boy. It was a man. Moving forward, Spacey's defense team said that his unsubstantiated after-the-fact claims of sexual assault are patently false. They acknowledged that the busboy lied to Spacey about his age. He said he was 23. The defense also points out that he welcomed drinks from Spacey, let him put his arm around him, left the bar to smoke a cigarette with him, and gave him his phone number. The criminal complaint includes several witnesses who confirm seeing Spacey and the busboy together, but not one single witness can confirm any touching or groping or anything that the accuser alleges actually took place. And I have a few questions about this. As a grown man, this went on for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of groping. As a grown 18-year-old man, if you don't want something, you don't allow it to happen for 3 straight minutes, period. Secondly, why would Kevin Spacey's defense team be the one filing all of these suits, bringing this into court to make sure that all of the digital evidence is preserved for what if this goes to trial? But that brings me to the third point. The case was dismissed in 2019. This was the only one that actually went through the full course of trial, and it was dismissed. The Anthony Rapp, the accuser that started it all. In April this year, Spacey filed another motion in federal court. His lawyers asked the judge to dismiss Rapp's lawsuit, claiming the allegations were false and never occurred. What were the allegations? So at a party at Spacey's home back in the 80s, Spacey was 26, Rapp was 14. He went up to the room with Spacey. Spacey lifted him up by his buttocks, put him on the bed. There was a graze that took place. Rapp left the room voluntarily. The whole ordeal took 30 seconds total. Spacey denies all of it. My question is, why was a 14-year-old boy alone at a man's house, especially at a house party, and how the hell did he end up in a bedroom alone with a man if what he alleges is true? In June of this year, a judge ruled that Spacey would have to stand trial in a New York federal court for that. So that's all that we can really speak on at the moment. Robert Kavasis may be included in the UK trial victims, but there's no way of confirming that at that time, so we're moving on past him. Tony Montana, no court case. Harry Dreyfus, no court case. Mark Ebenhock, the dude with who said that Kevin Spacey's assistant tried to solicit sex from him on behalf of Spacey while working on Outbreak. He was 36 years old when this happened. He is a military advisor on film sets. He is an ex-Marine. It just, something about it, if one thing that you've heard about Kevin Spacey and the allegations are true, this guy doesn't fit the bill. If Kevin Spacey was on Grindr, he's swiping left on this guy all day. He did not, I will say matter-of-factly, he did not have his assistants ask this guy to go have sex with him. It's not his type, if anything else is true. All right, so were there mistakes made? Almost definitely. People ask, what would somebody have to gain by making accusations like this? In today's world, a lot. When popularity and ad worth is calculated by what's trending on social media, your stock goes up if you can turn your name into a trending headline that you're not on the wrong side of. And just to play devil's advocate, let's say I was a struggling filmmaker or a struggling actor, as many of the accusers are. I mean, if you look up Anthony Rapp, they say actor Anthony Rapp. Well, that's being pretty liberal with the word actor. He has an IMDb page, he has credits, but the credits never really gained any kind of substantial notoriety until after 2017. I wonder why. So I'm this actor, I'm struggling, I want to make a name for myself. What I've done hasn't quite caught on. I put a lot of content out there. It's not catching on, people aren't paying attention. How do I get people to think about my name, to search for me? Well, in today's world, you could jump on the bandwagon that is the Me Too movement. Especially if you're the second or third accuser, no wonder the floodgates would open up. I mean, I have my questions about the first accusation, but there's even more questions about the accusations that followed. I'll close with this. What I'm suggesting, it sounds like I may be saying that the accusers are liars. And I know that's an offensive accusation. It's terribly offensive to accuse someone of something so horrible. It'd be terrible for you to simply believe me at my word and crucify these accusers as liars without any evidence, without them standing some kind of trial where we can judge them with the jury of their peers, whether they're innocent or guilty. That'd be wrong of you. And if you think about that for a moment, that's exactly what we have done collectively as a society to Kevin Spacey. As I said at the beginning, there's been one trial, it was dismissed. The rest are awaiting. Yet, he's already been sentenced to career death. He's got a few movies coming out, but his co-star is Eric Roberts. Kevin Spacey, a man that has devoted his entire life to the craft that he has gifted us with through all of the movies and more that I listed at the top of my argument, is reduced to starring in a film with Eric, excuse my French, Roberts. That's unacceptable. Not when he has not been proven guilty in any court of law, not when the one single case that has gone to court has been dismissed. I find it abhorrent. And the fact that people like Woody Allen and Roman Polanski and whatever the guy's name that directed Jeepers Creepers are still working in Hollywood tells me that this is not about any kind of moral code that they're trying to live up to. Roman Polanski must have had news about some skeletons in the closet of somebody that Kevin Spacey did not have the advantage of knowing. That's the only difference here. Not innocent or guilt, not what happened or didn't happen. It's who you know, who you're rubbing shoulders with. Unfortunately, it was Kevin Spacey's time, but not today. Time's up.
I mean, Your Honor, excuse me, I was just so entertained over here. I didn't realize that the defense had switched positions with the defendant and he's now the actor okay. Great performance, counselor. Your Honor, I do not know who Kaiser Sose is, but I know who Kevin Spacey Fowler is. Kevin Spacey Fowler. Let me say that again. Someone who is not even happy with who he is. Now, counselor here will have you say that these crimes, they're not crimes because there's been no conviction. I know some people in Tulsa from 1921 who were victims. There's been no conviction. There are atoms in the world, there's science, we can't see them, but they're real. Oh man. People are paying, good women are paying good women for Brazilian butt lifts. And Your Honor, I know you're asking me, what does a Brazilian butt lift have to do with Kevin Spacey Fowler? Well, have you ever had a Kevin Spacey Fowler butt lift when he lifted that 14-year-old boy?
Allegedly.
And counselor will have you think it's allegedly. He even says 30 seconds. Tick, tick, tick is right. So with that being said, he's now saying that the defendant allegedly scooped this boy up like the Tostito that he was and put him in the bed. And he grazed him. It almost seems as if he raised him, sir. Raised him the way maybe something happened in his background. Did you not say he had a troubled childhood? He said it. I don't need to hear it again because counselor may put on another performance for the court. And I think we've had enough of those. So Mr. Spacey Fowler will not be negotiating any plea deals on this side. I'll tell you that right now. And his house of cards have fallen. That's just, ABC used to stand, the movie Glenglare, you brought that up? ABC, there's a line from that movie, ABC always be closing. No, there's a flip side to that coin. Always be careful when you're around Kevin Spacey Fowler. And if you see me pointing at the counselor as if he's Kevin Spacey Fowler, no, I would not do that. But it's just the performance that was put on. We've yet to hear, was Mr. Fowler not supposed to be in court today, Your Honor? I don't see him. So, with that being said, I don't think the counselor's slamming the victims. But see, here's the thing money can't buy. It can't buy the truth. And see, even the counselor calls them victims. He didn't say he was accuser shaming. He said victim shaming. He knows that there was some crime committed, but yet there's no conviction. There's no conviction. Ooh, there's no semen. There's no ovary. There's no baby. Oh, artificial insemination. Ah, look at that. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? So, with that being said, am I here to accuse and say that Kevin Spacey Fowler did these things? Oh, no, I wasn't there. And if I'm not there, wouldn't it stand to believe my memory might be a little foggy? If I'm not there, how can I say what happened? Because see, I can barely remember the 5th of November. I'll say that again. I can barely remember the 5th of November, but I quite vividly remember November 3rd. Because November 3rd, the accusations, as the counselor will call them, kept coming and coming and coming. And by the notes, they weren't the only things that were coming. But I'll keep it clean. I'll say this, Your Honor. Kevin Spacey Fowler is a guilty man. But counselor will just have you ask, guilty of what? So, I'll say this. Before I rest, Your Honor, counselor said mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Let me tell you what a mistake is. You forget to wrap up. You got a kid. That's a mistake. You lock your keys in your car twice in 1 week. That's a mistake. You cheat on your wife. Well, case by case. Case by case. Yeah. But victim after victim after victim said these things happen. And I'll be honest with you, do I think all these things happen? No. No, I don't. I think some of these things happen. And if there was some crime committed, then there should be some penalty. And I only wish that as he will call them, accusers, but I use the V word and it don't stand for vendetta. It stands for victims. If these victims could at least face this cowardly, spineless man in the face, then maybe he might have me believe that he was remorseful. But again, where is Kaiser Sose? Who is Kaiser Sose? Or who is Kevin Spacey Fowler? And that's the fucking summation.
Prosecution puts on quite a show, right? But if you really think about the words that are being said, it unravels quite quickly. Guilty of what, he says. Exactly. Who could say? There hasn't been a trial. Except for the one that was dismissed. This is America, right? You're American? I'm American? And in America, it is innocent until proven guilty. Schrodinger's cat, until you open that box, it is both alive and dead. America takes it one step further than that. Until you open that box, we presume that the cat is alive. We haven't had a chance to open the box of Kevin Spacey yet because none of these allegations has resulted in a trial that wasn't dismissed. But I'm just being redundant now. He talks about Anthony Rapp saying somebody raised him. That's funny that you use those words, somebody raised him. Somebody needed to raise him. What the hell was he doing at a house party in the 80s where you know there was cocaine and drugs flowing? This is no place for a child. If something did indeed happen there, it's not on Kevin Spacey, a 26-year-old young man that was hopped up on God knows what in the 1980s. Who knows? He can't be accountable for his actions at this time. That's on the parents. I'm sorry. And I never said victims. I never once referred to the allegers as victims. I referred to them as accusers because that's what they are until they see their day in court and until the jury of their peers side with them. They are not victims, they are accusers. Lastly, I never said that mistakes were made. I said, were mistakes made? Almost definitely. Almost definitely. Because you're right, who can say? He wasn't there, I wasn't there, and I'm certain that none of you in the public were there.
Easy boy.
But you are so certain about what happened, right? No, you can't be. Not until the due process is carried out. And again, and I'll close with this, the due process has only been carried out in one of these allegations, and it was dismissed. Defense rests. All right, prosecution. Were you swayed at all? Are charges still going to proceed?
I was persuaded to Donald.
Trump?
The charge is up. You got that right. What about you? Were you persuaded to get off the high horse of this magic ride of nothing really happened?
Nope, not swayed at all.
Well, I guess we got to leave it up to the court of public opinion. So guys, in the comments, let us know, what do you think? Let's get that dialogue going. Did Kevin Spacey Fowler do it or didn't he? We don't know. Do you? Are you saying he did it?
You don't get to tell me what to do ever again. American Beauty forever.
You are the devil and the devil is back. You are the devil and the devil is back. You are the devil and the devil is back. You are the devil and you are back.
Hey guys, hey gals, did you like that?
Mm-hmm.
I know I did. And here's something YouTube thinks you'll like. They've actually recommended. What do you recommend?
I recommend that if you have not subscribed to our channel, that you please click right down there and make sure you correct that wrong this very instant.
Let me ask a question. Where can they find us?
All those places over there, we're everywhere. Everywhere.
We thought we could do a cooler outro. We're just going to walk away now.